Wherever you're listening from, whether this is a quiet moment you carved out for yourself or you're moving through another full day, I just want to say this first. I'm really glad you're here. This isn't a highlight reel, it's a reflection. And 2025 was the kind of year that asked a lot of questions about who I am, about what I'm building, about whether I was willing to stay present when things felt uncertain, shaky, and honestly, scary. A little over a year ago, my husband and I moved just outside of New York City after decades in Manhattan. And this year was the first time I really landed. I started meeting people, other business owners, new friends. I started having fun, a different kind of fun, like the kind that you just can breathe and release. It reminded me that life doesn't have to shrink as we age. It can really widen. I'm walking solidly into my early 60s now, and one of my closest friends, Carla, suggested I read Let Them by Mel Robbins. And I said, I don't have time for that. However, I read it because she pointed me to the right chapters, and it felt like a breath of fresh air. Not about giving up, but about releasing expectations, releasing control, letting people be who they are, and letting myself move forward without carrying so much weight. That theme showed up everywhere. My birthday this year was a blur. Normally it's a huge celebration with friends. Because that same morning, my husband had shoulder replacement surgery. It was a long, exhausting day. No celebration, no dinner plans, just love and worry and showing up, right? That's what we do for those we love. And then something small but unforgettable happened. When we got home, a neighbor had left us a lasagna. Still warm, no big gesture, just kindness. It reminded me that support doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it shows up quietly, right when you need it most. And you didn't even ask for it. It just shows up for you. Not long after that, my sister-in-law Elizabeth and her family surprised us with a flamdoodle puppy from their litter. Her name is Maddie, and she is pure light. Her name means ocean in Finnish. I don't know how my husband came up with that. Suddenly, I was learning how to pick up poop, wipe a pee, throw a ball more times than I can count. And I watched my husband come back to life in a new way. It was messy, it was tiring, and it was unexpectedly healing. My health, thankfully, held steady this year. A few uh-oh moments, as we all normally do, but overall, I've been intentional, healthy, and healing. About how I live, about how I work, about how I care for myself. I'm not just chasing youth, I'm building a life with purpose. And then there was Caire. We came into 2025 with tons of momentum, breaking sales goals, feeling optimistic, and then the ground shifted. Customers started losing their jobs, subscriptions were canceled, women started holding on to their money, not because they didn't love the products, but because uncertainty was everywhere. Tariffs loomed, costs rose, sales dropped. There was so much uncertainty. And suddenly felt like the business had walked itself back a year, maybe more. And for the very first time since starting Caire, I was truly afraid we might lose the business. And I did cry more than once, quietly, privately, guttural, the kind of tears many founders cry but rarely talk about. And then fundraising just dried up for consumer brands this year. Capital shifted towards AI and tech, and because we weren't yet solidly in the low millions in revenue, doors stayed closed. What saved us wasn't luck, it was preparation. We had applied early for an SBA loan before things became urgent. And because I protected my credit, my financial integrity over the decades, we were approved. That decision's bought us some time, and time has brought us some clarity. It taught me something I'll never forget. Resilience is designed before you need it. And then slowly the tide turned. We were selected for the XIC Venture Brand Builders Grant, chosen as one of 40 founder-led companies for the Masters of Scale Early Stage Founders cohort. We closed the year co-hosting our 4th annual Marvelous Mrs. Menopause event alongside women like Katie Fogarty and Stacey London, leaders changing the conversations around aging in real time in our partnership with Let's Talk Menopause. And October 10th, Caire returned to QVC, woohoo, on their 50 and Fabulous segment. And we, of course, sold out every serum. We delivered. That moment wasn't just a win. It was confirmation. Women are looking for something different in skincare, something honest, something science-driven, created with care by women who understand what it means to grow, change, and still want results. Caire is now a QVC customer favorite. This year didn't make me louder. It made me clearer. Fear doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're invested. Crying doesn't make you weak. It means you care deeply. And shrinking, going quiet, disappearing when things get hard isn't the only option. I'm entering 2026 with a different kind of confidence. Not bravado, not certainty, but trust. Trust in my instincts, trust in my people. Trust that building something meaningful takes time. And staying in the game matters more than looking perfect while you play. If you've ever had a year where you doubted yourself, where you were afraid to say how hard it really was, where you wondered if you had what it takes to keep going, I see you. I'm still here. I'm still building. And I'm just getting started.